Let's start out with the Surfs, fellow friend of the show. Shout out to the Surfs. Mods, please link. They also stream. Who killed Charlie Kirk? I intentionally followed nothing. All I know, semi-groper, fellow Helldivers player, okay, exceptionally concerning for this community. The intersection between Helldivers players and people with really good politic is very, very high. And we are people with very, very good politic. So it is slightly concerning that somebody from representing our main ideology at the end of the day here, which is Super Earth and an intergalactic fascistic human empire. It's a red flag.
2025, far-right political commentator Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while doing a speaking event at a university in Utah. There was obviously a lot of speculation immediately as to who the shooter would be, considering that the victim in this case happened to be a far-right political commentator. Now, a lot of people didn't have a lot of hope that the killer would actually be caught, considering that the FBI is currently headed by a conspiracist podcaster named Kash Patel. Nonetheless, a photo
Valhalla, brother. Valhalla.
That was released eventually led to the killer's.
Hassan has been on vacation. What? The motherfucker's on vacation right now? We ain't got no fucking Hassan on Sunday. Damn, bro. It's a fucking void. It's time for all the fucking vulture smaller Twitch streamers to come out. Isn't like everybody going to stream because of that today? And then in the end, I'm going to end up with less fucking viewers. Oh, no. Nobody's like Denim's always streams on Sunday. Sean the Black always streams on Sunday. Aaron and Struggle always stream on Sunday, so that's okay. Them I don't see as impeding on my fucking territory. Anybody else comes here, I'm gonna send them a fucking very harshly fucking violent worded fucking letter. But yeah, he's chilling. He went to Slovenia. What the fuck? Why would you go to Slovenia? His brother is getting married. His brother is getting married in Slovenia. Is Charlie Kirk okay? He's okay.
His father turning him in. Let's start, of course, with the fact that the day before, the Wall Street Journal published a story that gave the right all the ammunition they needed once again to target trans people by saying the ammunition in the Kirk shooting was engraved with
1 minute left of the hype train. Don't fucking embarrass yourself. The Turk is not streaming today. Don't save all your money for a dude that I love and respect very much. So, but it's already making like an insane amount of money. Just throw it at me right now. Make the hype train go true. That's literally the pitch. You ain't gonna be spending money on a Turkish man. Spend him on something that came before the Ottoman ever thought about beginning to exist, and that is a Balkan Slav. Okay.
Transgender anti-fascist ideology, according to sources.
Give me money, because without my people, Hassan would not have his dashing good looks. That height and that fucking face is a fucking Balkan Slav dude's face, okay? And then he's got the dark undertones and shit and hair of a Turkish dude. It's a perfect combination. But without us, you would have no fucking Hassan. So we demand a financial redistribution of a woke gene code adjustment. Thank you very much. I am absurdly confused. I am as well when I do these sorts of ad pitches.
It may seem like one of those sources happens to have been Steven Crowder, because Steven Crowder had made an announcement saying that he has an exclusive memo that came to his team from an officer at the ATF.
Nah, Hassan has beautiful Kurdish Iranian features. Cope, harder. Next.
Sources happens to have been Steven Crowder, because Steven Crowder had made an announcement saying that he has an exclusive memo that came to his team from an officer at the ATF.
And the only thing was like basic lettering that's always included on the bottom of most rounds.
However, it wasn't long before the New York Times issued.
Balkans think Turks are Balkan. Turks think Balkans are Turks. No, nobody in the Balkans wants to be Turk. No. That's the other Seethan Cope. Balkan people think that, to say that they have nothing Turkish in them. Nobody wants to be Turk, except maybe Turk. Like, not even their allies, like, not even Bosniaks or Albanians are like, oh, we want to be Turk. Even they're like, oh, we're allies, but please don't call me a Turk. Please, no. No Turk, please, no.
This, which happens to be very important, senior law enforcement official with direct knowledge of the investigation cautioned that the report may not have been verified by the ATF analysis and did not match other summaries of the evidence, and might turn out to be misread or misinterpreted. Now keep that term misinterpreted in mind, because we're about to reveal what the bullets actually said.
Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this question mark?"
Welcome to the 21st century, ladies, gentlemen, and MBs. It's pretty fucking hilarious, okay?
Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols.
That actually terrified the shit out of me. The first time I heard it, that, like, I'll admit, that terrified the shit out of me, because they were posting everywhere, like, the 4 symbols, and I know that all the other ones are used by groypers and so on, but 3 downwards arrows, I was like, holy shit, that's like, you know, the anti-authoritarian socialist movement, or whatever the fuck they call themselves. Let's not debate that, but that is definitely not a symbol used by any sort of contemporary American right-wing thing. So I was like, oh shit. And that is a symbol that, like, only, like, people in the left spaces know about. So it would, like, chances are very low that a right-winger would use it, ironically. But then it turned out just to be a Helldivers reference, which I was like, oh, okay. Jesus Christ.
Second unfired casing read, "Oh, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow."
What 3 hours am I referencing? You got, some of you don't know about it. Wait, we also have a Ben and Panada video. That should be, that's definitely going to be a normal video. 3 arrows. There's literally a channel. There you go. You all know 3 arrows. That's the symbol. That's the Simbi. That's the Simbi.
And a 3rd unfired casing read, "If you read
Yeah,
this,
Iron Front.
you are gay, LMAO."
What's that you say? Confused? Doesn't make any sense? What the hell do all these words mean? Am I not terminally online enough? I guess this is really an indication that places like the
I think the left and the right are confused about the ideology of this man. We are not supposed to make this about the left or the right. We are supposed to make this about grass touchers and the eternally online. What's up, Cubhead Socialist? Very nice to see you, my friend. This is a battle between grass touchers and the terminally online. And this is a first act of violence against someone who was supposed to stay digital, okay? Charlie Kirk was supposed to stay a YouTuber, a Facebook video producer, and a podcaster. But he chose to abandon that great and ancient tradition of online shitposting, and he started going around campuses and talking to people. And this evil digital terrorist, okay, took it upon himself to start the first of many violent political conflicts that are to come between the eternally online and the grass-touching few, grass-touching minority in political spaces. Jokes aside, low-key, it's not even a joke take. The online pill will seep further and further into, let's call it, political actors, usually adventurous political actors on all sides, that will try to speak on why they did something almost exclusively through shit that people like chat can understand.
Street Journal need to hire some younger people on their staff, or at least what I would consider to be called internet person. You know, someone who actually understands memes, the terminally online brain. We're at a point now where it's like all it takes is the word bulge.
So yeah, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's not a left versus right thing. Maybe it's we need to add something to the. We need to add something to, you know. Oh, we did this a while ago. How do I delete everything? How do I start with a new one? Start over like this, okay? So instead of just this, okay, we need like another line like this, right? We need another line that is like online and offline, right? that will help us better OnlyFans, that will help us better determine a person's true ideology. It has to go both ways, right? So go both ways, like also O and OnlyFans. Sorry, Chad. Right? This is new political theory dropping in 4K.
The terminally on my brain. We're at a point now where it's like all it takes is the word bulge to have been written somewhere, and that suddenly makes the shooter trans? Like, what are we doing here? What the hell is going on? Not to mention, these references are now being used to dictate that the shooter, in fact, was leftist, dedicated to the partisans of the Italian resistance, who fought against the occupying troops of Nazi Germany and the collaborationist fascist forces during the liberation of Italy. So, pretty conclusive there, right?
This song literally plays at every single fucking bar and club in my part of town after 1 a.m. Does that mean that every fucking coked out dude fucking raving to a Bella Ciao remix is actually a communist? Probably.
We got ourselves a far radical leftist anti-super soldier if ever I saw one. But that's only the start of the story. Because, believe me, friends, things get way stranger from here on out. So for starters, the shooter comes from a family of registered Republicans. The father was a minister, a former law enforcement officer, and they also had members of the military in their family. They also introduced their son, who became the shooter, to guns at a very young and early age, which would explain his marksmanship and why he was able to make a shot like he did from 200 yards away. It should also be stated immediately that it turns out the shooter was, yes, once again a case of a white cis male. Not a trans person, and not an immigrant. So that brings us to the next part of the story.
All jokes aside, if we want to properly, and I'm sure that the servers are going to do this as well, and this is not just like us doing propaganda, but if we properly want to adjust the conversation towards something positive, okay, it should be the framing should be around gun violence, because at the end of the day, this whole story is exactly that. An ironic twist of fate that somebody who advocated for let's call it weapon ownership to such a degree that is not present anywhere else in the world except in the United States of America, who ended up being a victim of gun violence. That's a whole different can of worms that we can talk, and if we talked about ad nauseum in the previous week, and I think everybody's tired of that particular conversation. But if there's just from a pragmatic lens, how this should be framed by most people should be exactly that. So yeah.
The Groypers.
Thank you, Terrible Clark, very much, and thank you by any means necessary for the subs.
If you don't know what a Groyper is, they are followers of Nick Fuentes, a very far-right, extreme, white supremacist, Holocaust-denying. You know what? I'll just give you guys an acronym for him. Not a very zealous individual. A big old piece of shit. But the thing is, Nick Fuentes was a far-right reactionary who oftentimes actually hated Charlie Kirk, specifically because Charlie Kirk didn't go far-right enough.
Charlie Kirk says, did you see this clip? He goes, your Generation Z sons have negative views about Israel. You need to tell them this. Time out. You need to tell them, time out. He said, if you feel like a loser, if you feel like your country's been destroyed, get a second job. Get a Hillsdale online course. Observe the Shabbos. He literally said this. I am hurtling towards you, full force, going nearly 90 miles per hour, weighing close to 1,500 pounds. I am hurtling towards you like a human missile.
This is what the Groyper War is. In the fall of 2019...
Isn't it hilarious that arguably the most aggressive right-wing commentator on planet Earth that has some semi-access to mainstream reach, even though he's far from mainstream, but is slowly turning mainstream now, definitely to an extent is mainstream. Charlie, the gentleman that we saw earlier, immediately backpedaled on his, let's call it, proactive pitch towards seizing back the destiny of America for white Christians. The second somebody, quote unquote, potentially, where we don't have this confirmed, acted on what he has been pitching people to act on for for decades upon decades, not for decades, but for a decade at least. So we have two dudes. Okay, we have two dudes. We have one that is like, we must save white America, and there's other right-wingers that are not direct enough when they advocate for saving white America, and another dude that is like, we must just save America and guns very good. The we must save America but guns really good guy gets killed. Okay, minorities bad, gay people bad, blah blah blah. But let's just focus on the guns thing. The guns guy gets killed by dudes that listen to the other right wing guy about him not being right wing enough, and then the OG guy who potentially, we don't know, inspired this immediately backpedals on all of it. It's an incredible case of snake eating its own ass that I've ever seen. Like right wingers who just want to spend their entire life fucking posting, end up causing some ripple effects IRL, and those ripple effects bite them in the ass. It's like somebody's writing this.
Hey man, it's been a really dark week.
Yeah.
It's just so divisive and scary, and everything's getting worse so fast.
I know.
I just don't understand this country anymore. Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
You're online, right?
Yeah, I mean it's all relative.
You're a young, isolated, lonely, online guy.
We're the same age.
Yeah, but you're very online.
What's your point?
What is a groiper?
Right.
When a person writes OWO, like, how do you pronounce that? What does that mean?
We live in the dumbest timeline.
Like, if I were to use that in a sentence...
Are these things that you saw in the news?
Yeah, I can afford Netflix and cable.
You're a normal guy. You have a good job and a family.
Sure.
You don't need to know all this.
Oh. Okay. Thank you.
Guy screams, it's okay if somebody dies because we get to have gun violence, commits die by gun violence. The guy who shot him, potentially motivated by guy who says, we must take the streets and do whatever is necessary in order to secure the future of white America. Then somebody potentially listens to that and does something about it, and then he immediately backpedals. And this is not just a me making fun of rightoids. This is like pure cope coming out of my mouth. Because this is the type of guys that we're losing to. This is the type of people that the wider left, especially in the United States, is losing to. What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing?
Charlie Kirk launched a college speaking tour with Turning Point USA titled Culture War, featuring himself and special guests such as Rand Paul, Donald Trump Jr., and Kimberly Guilfoyle. In retaliation for the firing of St. Clair and the Politicon incident, Fuentes began organizing a social media campaign asking his followers to go to Kirk's events and ask provocative and controversial leading questions about his stances on immigration, Israel, and LGBTQ+ rights to expose Kirk as a, quote, fake conservative. At a Culture War event hosted by Ohio State University on October 29th, 11 of the 14 questions were asked by groypers. The questions included, can you prove that our white European ideals will be maintained if the country is no longer made up of white European descendants? They asked Kirk's co-host Rob Smith, a gay black Iraq War veteran, how does anal sex help us win the Culture War? Fuentes' social media campaign against Kirk became known as the Groiper Wars. Kirk, Smith, and others at Turning Point USA, including Benny Johnson, began calling the questioners white supremacists and anti-Semites, which is just wild.
Yeah.
What is this, the woke right?
I remember this like it was yesterday. Thank you, Snappy Turtle. Thank you very much for the 15 months, baby.
Because he gave a 45-minute speech about
You're only repeating that because you're trying to make yourself sound important and you're not.
They've been swearing him for years. This is the only time we can get him is when he's crossing the street and he uses, I guess he's just like the Palestinians using human shields, right?
Just a quick summary.
I love when people talk and look to the side and never to the actual person they're talking to. Doesn't signal a fucking beta male at all.
I guess he's just like the Palestinians using human shields, right?
Just a quick summary. There's been a long-standing war between Nick Fuentes' audience, known as the Groypers, and Charlie Kirk's audience. In a lot of ways, Nick Fuentes doesn't believe that Charlie Kirk went far enough, that he was actually pulling people away from potential.
Like, all cases are lose-lose for Charlie Kirk here, okay? Why? Because if he's a true leader of the American white Christian movement, that implies that he wants people to take action, right? But if he wants people to take action, then he has to admit to a political assassination being based as fuck. And if he doesn't admit to a political assassination being based as fuck, that implies that he's just a poster. And he's a grifter, and he just wants a large audience, and he wants to talk about saving white America, but not really actually do anything about saving white America. So if you want to use this particular, let's call it, framing, you're very welcome to do it. Because they look bad in both circumstances. One is just a poster that is talking about a white people's revolution, but doesn't want to fucking see it. And the other one is an unhinged, adventurous assassin, which obviously doesn't sell really well in the United States. This problem would be easily solved taking Nick Fuentes to Berkheim or Kit Kat or maybe Lab. I don't think they can record there. We need footage of it. But
radicalization.
Yugo streams. How the fuck am I just finding out? Crazy. Crazy. Where have you been, my brother or sister or NBA?
More far-right extremism. To him, he saw Charlie Kirk as someone who was diluting their movement and asked his followers to oftentimes troll him or prank him in a variety of ways. Fast forward to today and looking at the evidence of who the shooter was. The song Bella Ciao, the Hugel remix, is actually a prominent song used amongst the Groyper community. And this song also...
Which also continues to play in the long history of fascists not being able to think up anything new and just using leftist culture for their own, somehow, magically. Crazy shit.
Appears in a lot of video games. Something that Groypers do is to reappropriate elements of the left, such as, songs that are anti-fascist in order to mock fascism, taking a song such as Bella Ciao and then using it as a way to, again, ridicule and mock those that they consider to be Antifa, anti-fascists, etc. Also evidence that the shooter dressed up as a Pepe meme for Halloween. However, it should also be added that this is...
What the fuck? My culture. My fucking culture! This is basically... And then he called it doing the pep. He took the pinnacle of Slavic culture. I have fucking Gopnik in my fucking name. But he then does not reference it properly. He's referencing a meme that references that, but he doesn't get the meta reference. Do I finally understand it? Do I finally understand what Asian women feel like when they see a white lady wearing like a kimono thing for Halloween? Is this what you feel like? Because like 99.9% of the time, if I see somebody like doing this, it's like, to me it's not offensive. It's like, fucking chill as shit. But do not even reference my culture when you're doing it. My guy, it's like I don't know, a dude watching an anime, and then in the anime they dress in like traditional Japanese clothing, and you wear that shit to Halloween, and then you're like, oh, I'm wearing an anime outfit, even though that's just dude, this is collapsing me. All the horrors that are coming out of the Charlie Kirk assassination, like the banning of r/the program, and now this. The entangling of my beautiful culture with this strange individual. Thank you, Emo Snail 666. What a great name. As a black Chinese man, this is how Asian women feel. He probably didn't even realize it's Slavic. Absolutely didn't. That's what I'm losing my mind about. Okay, we now officially know that this person was dumber than a fucking rock. Okay? Dumber than a fucking rock.
Mini Pepe, which is different than the regular Pepe. I know this might be a little much. There's actually different tiers of Pepe. The 22-year-old suspect, alleged to have killed right-wing activist Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University on Wednesday, left behind some unusual clues for investigators. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said at a press conference on Friday that federal investigators had found engraved messages on bullet casings, including, "Hey fascist, catch. Up, right, down, down, down." This is a reference to dropping a 500-kilogram bomb in the video game Helldivers 2. Now, if you're wondering, isn't Helldivers 2 ultimately a satire of fascism itself? You would be correct, and the game is enormously popular in a number of communities. The problem with Helldivers 2 is it's also extremely popular amongst the far-right and Groyper communities. Now, this whole thing goes a little bit back to media literacy, as to why exactly there are so many things that are appropriated by the right to the far-right when they think those things happen to be fascistic or
Like almost all of the things mentioned are exactly that, because fascists that don't have anything of their own, okay? Like, cute little, two gay dudes being like, yo, know this bulge, type shit. Helldivers referenced literally a game making fun of fascism, and Bella Ciao literally a song making fun of, not making fun, like dancing on the graves of fascists. Ha ha ha, you took L, ha, upside down, right? Like, they don't have, they got nothing. They got nothing. And then also this motherfucker wears fucking squatting Slav shit to fucking Halloween, and he thinks it's referencing a Pepe. Kill me. Thank you, Decrepid. I love your channel. Thank you very much. Love you too. Welcome to the community, friend.
celebrating fascism when in fact they happen to be.
Also, do you motherfuckers that like want to subscribe individually, you get discounts on during September. Like, be smart and subscribe for 3 or 6 months. You're literally just gonna save a bunch of money, and you're gonna have all the benefits of being a subscriber. What are the benefits of being a subscriber? Just being a really chill guy. Don't you want to be a really chill guy or gal, or just chill? If you don't want those two categories added to it, I'm making this too complicated. I'm basically telling you how to save money.
Satires or mocking them. Look no further than the movie Starship Troopers.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
Men and women from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
The game has been celebrated and is oftentimes played amongst the far-right communities because they don't see it as satire or parody. They sell it as a celebration of, again, their fascistic and or pro-Hitler beliefs. Arrow symbols that match the input required to execute a stratagem in Helldivers 2. That stratagem, the Eagle 500-kilogram bomb, lets players drop a 1,100-pound bomb that embeds itself in the background before exploding. It's one of the more destructive special moves in the game. Other shells had different messages engraved on them, including "Notice bulge," "Owo," or "Iwu," "What's this?" A reference to a meme about furries in online roleplay. "Oh, Bella Ciao," "Bella Ciao," "Bella Ciao Ciao Ciao," a reference to an Italian anti-fascist song from 1953. And, if you read this, "You are gay," "Lamau," which is seemingly a little more than a shitposty gotcha meme. While the Helldivers 2 reference is getting much more attention, particularly in the wake of U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. partially blaming video games for gun violence earlier this month, the alleged shooter's message appears chaotic and influenced by online discourse. Something about Helldivers 2 makes the people taking it too seriously a very big problem. The community has been expanding on the game's thematic propaganda since its launch, including anything from fan-made posters that give burst slogans to things like "Spill Oil," to the Super Earth broadcast, a fan-run TikTok account that shares daily updates about the Galactic War. Several interviewees said these community creations convinced them to purchase the game. Most found its satirical perspective was easy to roleplay around and create fan-made content that adds to the world building. Others expressed concerns for those players who are taking it to an extreme. The problem here isn't actually
but that's to the audience. If somebody is so fucking as dumb as a rock when playing Helldivers and doesn't get the point that Helldivers is genuinely so openly and so directly pushing to its audience, that's not Helldivers' problem. That's not the problem of the developers. That's not a problem for the writers. Like, this is like somebody post. I can't believe I'm gonna defend like X.com or YouTube, but in this case I will. Somebody posting white supremacist videos or posts on X on YouTube. That's not That's not like, oh, fucking YouTube, very bad. That's on the individuals that are interpreting or posting said thing. They own the post. Social media is basically a forum for everybody to speak their normal or unhinged shit too. It's the same when it comes to the interpretation of a particular piece of media, or in this case, media/art. So I don't think we need to explain this, is what I'm trying to say. But I know what the serfs are doing. It's necessary for, I don't know, normies watching this. Thank you, Nutsack, very much for continuing your sub. Thank you very much. Thank you, Calming the Hose. What a great name for the 3 months, baby. And thank you, Pig All Bussy for 7.
Bigots. Those are unfortunate facts of life that can never be fully eradicated. The problem is that Arrowhead's official spaces have made the deliberate decision to silence LGBTQ plus voices under the guise of banning.
The problem here isn't actually the bigots. Those are unfortunate facts of life that can never be fully eradicated. User Bapanda. I thought it said bad empanada. What the hell? The problem is that Arrowhead's official spaces have made a deliberate decision to silence LGBTQ plus voices under the guise of banning any political discussion, so people's identities are political. You're always that's fucking corporate America, bro. You're always gonna get a fucking shot from this or that side whenever trying to quote unquote police the perception of a particular game. I think the wise thing to do is just fucking ignore it unless a particular toxic space becomes too large. Like, to an extent, what Warhammer is doing. Warhammer is just letting shit develop the way, organically, except when, I don't know, a channel with 500,000 subscribers, like, I don't know, Arch Warhammer starts really, really being big, while pitching unhinged right-wing ideas, and then they're like, okay, now you have a fucking massive platform that you're making money from. Now we're gonna step in and potentially use lawyers. Everything else, like respectfully, like no politique here, unironically, everything else, you end up shooting yourself in this or that type of a foot. And this is, again, if we're putting on the corporate hat right here, not looking at this as communists or anarchists or whatever.
As if people's identities are political, and as if this game was now created and marketed by a heavy-handed piece of political satire.
Warhammer is legit right-wing propaganda. I am a massive Warhammer fan, my friend. A massive one. Do I look like a right-wing? What? Most of my friends that like love Warhammer are literally communists. Come on, dude. It literally just screams at you, hey, if we pursue imperialism for the sake of imperialism and conquest is the main driving ideology of our species, we will create a dystopia far worse than we can even imagine hell being. That's fucking beautiful writing.
It's all back. What do we actually know? Well, for starters, the fact that the shooter is once again, as is often the case, a white, cis male. In this case, the shooter happens to come from a registered Republican.
The problem is dumb people exist, but we shouldn't let dumb people fucking take shit away from us. Like it's, yeah.
Family, a family.
That's on them, is what I'm saying. Like, don't let them take very chill stuff that you enjoy away from you because they interpret it in their fucking freaky ass way. Thank you, Thread of Solidarity. Thank you very much for the gift sub.
Of ex-military, and preachers. These are right-wing individuals. They were heavily into guns, they had a lot of legal firearms, and they were into guns training for their children. So beyond that, we don't actually know what the motivation is. In terms of conclusive evidence, everyone who has been speculating up until this point that this happens to be a left-wing extremist or someone who is trans or something.
You're so fucking quiet right now. What they're spreading right now like crazy is that he has to be a leftist because apparently he might have a trans partner, which has already been disproven. But I love how, like, what, like, dating a trans person makes you leftist? What the fuck? These guys are so fucking weird. I will like the other jazz. That big you bastard who you have the sexes with. What the fuck? But then again, like, are we really surprised? Like, in these spaces, if there's even, even if we don't include like trans people or gay, even if it's a straight couple, and if it's a white dude dating a black lady, you don't think that they will immediately assume that he's a fucking lefty cock soy boy or race trader? Business. Thank you very much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you very much, Xi Jinping. There you go. China paying their taxes.
Someone who is part of a vulnerable community who
Thank you very much.
were already facing a lot of violence towards them was simply doing that to incite more violence. This is something in which the right has been inciting violence non-stop, despite the fact that oftentimes, as is the case, the shooters turn out to be right-wing or Trump supporters. The man who targeted and killed Democrat state lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark in their home in Minnesota in June was a Trump supporter. The man who was charged with the attempted assassination of Pennsylvania's Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro in April was a Trump supporter. The man convicted of orchestrating a series of shootings at the homes of 4 Democratic elected officials in New Mexico in 2022 was a Trump supporter. The man who tried to kidnap the Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and assault her husband Paul in 2022 was a Trump supporter. The men who wanted to hang Mike Pence on January 6, 2021 were Trump supporters. The man who killed his son of Obama-appointed district judge Ether Salas in 2020 was a Trump supporter. The men who were convicted of trying to kidnap Michigan's Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer in 2020 were Trump supporters. The man who sent pipe bombs to the homes of Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and other top Democrats in 2018 was a Trump supporter. The man who killed left-wing activist Heather Heyer after driving his car.
I love how we always talk shit, at least in this community. I love talking shit about people that do leftist infighting just as a form of intellectual masturbation and treat the Marxist idea as a means of being the smartest guy in the room type shit, as extremely toxic and shitty behavior. But at least I guess we don't fucking shoot at each other. So, because very often we're like, the right wing is very united and we're fighting a very united front and this is very difficult. And while ideologically they truly are, they truly are, when it comes to picking up the firearm and grass touching so hard that the quote unquote enemy's head explodes or their body leans left, they are much more proactive. So our infighting is calling each other names on Discord. Their infighting is a bullet to neck or to head. But this is only in the scope of what the Americans define as political violence. Of course, we do not define political violence when it comes to issues like racially motivated violence or homophobic violence, or don't even get me fucking started, especially in the United States, when it comes to transphobic violence, right? That shit ain't political violence. That shit just, I don't know. They happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, we did straight up go to war with each other during the 20th century, not so much anymore. Oh, yeah, we most likely, I can't say this. Yeah, that is, there is a very unfortunate but realistic element to the eventual figuring out of what works or what doesn't work post-revolution. But now we're talking, literally in a neoliberal capitalist society, right? The difference between right-wing infighting and left-wing infighting is when we do infighting, we kill each other's egos. When right-wingers do infighting, they just kill each other. Yeah. Very true.
To a crowd of counter-protesters in Charlotte.
Not saying that leftists don't kill each other over ideas, but they do so in the final stages of a potential socialist overtake, where the multiple prevailing pitches on what to do with the particular society that they have at that point managed to secure, quote-unquote, secure for themselves, is going to pursue, right? Like what is exactly it going to look like? Right-wingers just shoot each other while living in the very capitalist society that they love, because that's what right-wingers want. At the end of the day, it is the continuation of the current status quo. It is the protection of capitalism at any means necessary. It is the continuous offloading of very real, direct, negative influences of the market economy, of capitalism, of massive inequality over to social categories and ethnic categories. So when they kill each other to an extent while capitalism still exists, it is an act of quote-unquote praxis to them, because they are physically, let's call it, debating on what the approach should be to preserving capitalism the way it is, right? At least its market form. We wait for the revolution's apparent success before we start blasting. Right-wingers think the blasting will bring success. Good take, but like not as like add a little bit of sophistication to it, because they like there is no quote unquote right-wing revolution, even though I sometimes use that terminology, etc., when there's a overhaul of a capitalist society and an introduction of more regulated violent means as a legal tool to protect said status quo, aka right-wingers want to get in power because they want to use the stick a lot more to protect capitalism and the status quo. The other guys think it's a lot more pragmatic to, pretend that we have a democracy and everything's okay as long as we close our eyes to, dying homeless people and imperialism and colonization, etc., etc. So to an extent, what I'm trying to say is right-wingers already doing infighting while capitalism is alive are doing it post-revolution because that they already live in a society that they want to see. They just want different excuses to prevail on why it should continue being the way it is currently.
Phil, in 2017, was a Trump supporter. Something that also should be covered is that the same day that Charlie Kirk was shot, a 16-year-old boy who's accused of shooting 2 classmates at Evergreen High School has been revealed to be a conspiratorial, anti-Semitic, and white supremacist who is radicalized over social media. Also from a thread by Robert Downen, senior writer at Texas Monthly. I'm not in any way speculating, but I'm actually shocked how few people know that Charlie Kirk has been for years amongst the most reviled people on the planet.
If Charlie Kirk's actual shooter was a leftist. I see this, and I know that Hakeem just fucking shot a guy. I see this on bullet casings after, like, some guy was shot. Like, Hakeem did this. Like, this is what Hakeem ironically would do. Because I would be like, just write a fucking letter there, or write a fucking thing, or like, put a symbol. And he would be like, no, we have to explain so that the contradictions of our argument are not apparent to potential detractors after we commit the ritual suicide post-assassination attempt type shit.
Funded by white supremacists, many of whom are radicalized by sustained...
We need to source everything, bro. That would be Freda, okay? Also Freda, dear friend of the show, Freda, okay? Freda will make this point, like this much, right? This much. And then all the rest would be sources, okay? Freda would miss the assassination appointment because he would just be like reading 70 books in order to be able to properly source the first 5% of his political statement pre-assassination. Crazy.
In campaigns painting him as an anti-white fraud. Again, I'm not speculating about the shooter. I just have been stunned about how quickly people have jumped with certainty by partisan conclusions. Because in extremist spaces, the Charlie Kirk hater to Nazi pipeline is canon.
And that was not me throwing shade. That was me being fucking jealous of the big brain in Freda's head.
How we got a generation of anti-Semitic extremists.
This bad stuff happens. And for 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us.
The sacrificial lamb, Charlie motherfucking Kirk. The sacrificial lamb of fucking God. Oh God, they were, dude. They were. You cannot tell me that most of these freaky ass motherfuckers weren't low key ecstatic, consciously or subconsciously, when they saw him leaking like a faucet. Okay, because they're like, God fucking damn it, fell into our laps so fucking good. Fell into our laps so fucking good. Please make it a fucking black trans woman. Please, God fucking damn it. Please. Please, God. Okay? They were like crying, and maybe they were sad, and maybe they were like low-key scared of their life. But what they saw, especially, was opportunity. And if you want proof of what I'm saying right now, just listen to this beautiful, bold gentleman.
I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here.
You see? God. Case in fucking point. I don't need more proof.
So much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you. And if you want to join,
link to video in
please check out
chat.
patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie.
Thank you, Comrade Junkie. What is this?
If this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. Somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. I was praying.
Oh, yeah. Oh. What the fucking helly? No, I don't want to support the New York fucking Times, bro. Do I look like a fucking New York white guy to you?
Hello.
Chat, don't say yes. I swear to God, I will lose my mind. America has had about 3,500 serial killers. The next highest is Russia with 195. But no, America is totally okay. Listen, you have a bunch of motherfucking people that think that they can talk about politics day in and day out. Very serious shit. On the left and on the right. And they think that somehow protects them against potentially being physically harmed. Obviously, I'm not calling for it. And obviously, I don't think that it's a good bloody thing. But you are unironically putting your hands in the pockets of billionaires and capitalists, if you're a left-winger, and agitating against tens upon tens of millions of minority members if you're a right-winger. You are proposing, okay, both sides, you are actively proposing that whole categories of people, okay, whole lifestyles should not exist. Okay, you're not doing MacBook reviews. You're not doing car reviews. You're not doing unboxing content. And you're surprised that motherfuckers will want to silence that particular rhetoric? Here I'm talking in general about like people that do to an extent what I do, but obviously to much higher levels. Like, what the fuck are you surprised about? I don't know. It's genuinely baffling to me. Like, there is no place for political violence in our country. Sure, I agree, political violence is bad, especially when directed against right-wing, white American talking heads, especially. Don't we agree, all chat? Especially then, very bad. But then, I don't know, like, it surprises me when the people are like, holy shit, this should not happen. Dude, that is the main form of violence throughout history. You are Protestant, I am Catholic, I will scalp you for speaking to my people and convincing them to turn to the other religion. You are, like it's. Thank you, Black Light Things. Thank you very much for paying your taxes. I'm guessing you're a Western minority. There you go. Another Western minority donating, while white people from the West sure as fuck quiet when it comes to paying their taxes. Quiet as a motherfucker. Okay, we have 23 here. Because they got to pay a little bit more taxes. No 20s, no 20s. What I'm trying to say at the end of the day is that if there's one thing, if there was one type of yap that could get you killed the most throughout history, it was sharing political opinions. So to be like, what the fuck? I thought guys can just say what the fuck they want and nobody's going to want to cut their throat is so incredibly historically uninformed and naive and stupid as shit. That's the number one thing that guys get killed over. That's the thing. That's the society. I'm going to be society guy, but unironically. Joker unironically, society. Like, that's the... Motherfucker thinks that I can spend my whole life being like, nah, incredibly powerful billionaire man? Nah, we're taking all that shit. Nah. And I think that I'm safe? What the... What? Do you guys like drive your car blind with no fucking lights on? What? That's why I wear a fucking mask. Silly looking weird fucking Eastern European LARPer guy wears mask. Where's Charlie Kirk right now? Motherfucker wanted to go and talk in colleges. Very bad, should not have happened. Very fucked up, especially when happening to right-wing talking point guys, talking heads, okay? But there you go. Like, and he even had a whole security team. People get killed over political opinions, which is bad, but that's like gravity. That is life. Welcome. Nice to meet you. Bro, stop making war and money political. Bro got killed over talking about shit that gets other people killed. Holy shit, Pog. Surprise face. Whoa, Jack. Like, what?
We will all go together when we go. What a comforting fact that is to know. Universal bereavement.